At my grandfather's 90th birthday, he raised his glass and said, "I built this family from nothing, and you all have disgraced it." My father laughed. "Dad, times have changed." My grandfather slammed his cane on the floor. "Not for me. And that's why I'm changing my will. Tonight." My hands trembled as the lawyer pulled out a new document, and when my name was read, the entire family turned against me. I never imagined I'd be sharing this, but I need to get it off my chest. It's a long story, so please bear with me. I'm a 35-year-old guy from Chicago, married to my wife, Sarah, for 12 years. We have 2 kids, a 10-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. My family has always been close-knit, with my grandfather, Robert, as the patriarch. He built a successful construction business from the ground up and always emphasized the importance of family and integrity. A few months ago, we celebrated my grandfather's 90th birthday. It was a grand affair held at a banquet hall downtown. Family members flew in from all over the country. During the dinner, my grandfather stood up to give a toast. He raised his glass and said, "I built this family from nothing, and you all have disgraced it." The room fell silent. My father chuckled nervously and said, "Dad, times have changed." My grandfather's face turned red with anger. He slammed his cane on the floor and declared, "Not for me. And that's why I'm changing my will, tonight." The rest of the evening was tense, but no one dared to ask him what he meant. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something big was about to happen. A week later, I received a call from my grandfather's lawyer, Mr. Thompson, asking me to come to his office. When I arrived, I was surprised to see my grandfather there, looking solemn. "Sit down, son," my grandfather said. I obeyed, my heart pounding. "I've made some decisions about my estate," he began. "Given recent events, I've decided to make some changes to my will." I nodded, unsure of where this was going. He continued, "I've always valued honesty and loyalty. Unfortunately, not everyone in this family shares those values." I swallowed hard, sensing the gravity of his words. After much thought, he said, "I've decided to leave the majority of my estate to you." I was stunned. "Me? But why?" He sighed, looking weary. "Because I know you'll do what's right. I've been observing everyone, and I believe you have the integrity to uphold the family's legacy." I didn't know what to say. I felt honored but also overwhelmed. "There's something else," he added. "I need you to promise me that you'll take care of the family business and ensure it remains within the family." I nodded. "I promise, Grandpa." He smiled faintly. "Good. Mr. Thompson will provide you with the details." After the meeting, I felt a heavy weight on my shoulders. I knew this would cause a rift in the family, but I couldn't refuse my grandfather's wishes. When the news broke, all hell broke loose. My father was furious, accusing me of manipulating Grandpa. My siblings and cousins were equally upset, feeling betrayed and left out. Family gatherings became unbearable, with tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Amidst all this chaos, I started noticing changes in Sarah. She became distant, often lost in thought. She'd spend hours on her phone, quickly locking the screen whenever I approached. Our conversations became superficial, and our intimacy dwindled. One evening, after putting the kids to bed, I confronted her. "Sarah, is there something going on? You've been acting differently." She looked startled but quickly composed herself. "No, everything's fine. Just stressed with work and all the family drama." I wanted to believe her, but my gut told me otherwise. A few days later, I came home earlier than usual. As I entered the house, I heard Sarah talking on the phone in hushed tones. I couldn't make out the words, but her tone was affectionate, something I hadn't heard directed at me in a while. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to check our phone bill. What I found shattered me. There were countless calls and texts to a number I didn't recognize, often late at night or during times she claimed to be at work. I confronted her that night. "Who have you been talking to, Sarah?" She looked at me, eyes wide with panic. "What are you talking about?" I showed her the phone records. This number. You've been in constant contact with them. Who is it? Tears welled up in her eyes. It's Mark. Mark was a colleague of hers, someone she'd mentioned in passing but never with any significance. Are you having an affair? I asked, my voice trembling. She broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. It started a few months ago. I felt so alone with everything happening. Mark was there for me. I never meant for it to go this far. I felt like the ground had been pulled from under me. The woman I loved, the mother of my children, had betrayed me. We decided to go to counseling to see if our marriage could be salvaged. It was a grueling process, filled with pain and resentment. Trust was hard to rebuild, and I wasn't sure if I could ever look at her the same way. During this time, my grandfather passed away. His death brought the family together, but the reading of the will tore us apart again. As per his wishes, I inherited the majority of his estate and control of the family business. The family was livid. Accusations flew, relationships were severed, and I became the black sheep. They believed I had manipulated an old man into giving me everything. Amidst the family feud and my marital issues, I had to take charge of the family business. It was overwhelming, but I poured myself into it, perhaps as a way to distract from my personal life. Sarah and I continued counseling, but the damage was done. We decided to separate, realizing that staying together was more harmful than parting ways. The kids took it hard, but we assured them that both of us loved them and would always be there for them. Now, months later, I'm still navigating the complexities of my new role in the family business and co-parenting with Sarah. The family remains fractured, with some members refusing to speak to me. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it. I'm taking it one day at a time, trying to honor my grandfather's legacy while rebuilding my own life from the rubble. Thanks for reading. I just needed to share this with someone. It had been about 6 months since the will was read. My name was all over the legal documents. I now owned the company. I had the deeds. I had the authority. But I didn't have peace. My uncle stopped speaking to me. My aunt sent me a long email accusing me of poisoning Grandpa's mind. Even my cousins, who I grew up with like siblings, were cold and distant. One of them, Trevor, straight up told me at a funeral dinner that he hoped I'd crash and burn. I don't care what Grandpa thought, he hissed in my face while we stood next to the potato salad. You didn't earn it. You stole it. And you know what? I kind of agreed with him. I didn't feel like I earned any of it. I was managing a company built on a foundation I had nothing to do with. The workers looked at me like I was just some spoiled boss's kid. I could see it in their eyes. Then, one night, I got a call from my mom. She sounded shaken. You need to come over. Right now. When I got to her house, she pulled out a small wooden box from the attic. Your grandfather gave this to me 2 years ago. Told me to give it to you, but only if the family turned on you. Inside were 2 things, an old cassette tape and a letter, handwritten and dated 2 years before he died. I took the letter first. It started off with, "If you're reading this, then the family has likely reacted the way I feared they would." He went on to explain things I never knew. Things no one knew. That he had quietly been monitoring who was stealing from the company. That there were missing funds. Fake contracts. He even named names. And right at the top of the list? My dad. He wasn't just mismanaging the business, he'd been funneling money for years, hiding it under fake vendor payments. Apparently, Grandpa had hired a private investigator but never told anyone. Not even my mom. The cassette? His voice. Fragile, but clear. I don't care what anyone says. You're the only one who didn't put their hand in the cookie jar. Maybe you're not perfect. But you're not a liar. That's why it has to be you. I sat there, stunned. The weight of everything dropped on my shoulders like bricks. I'd spent months second-guessing myself, and here was the truth. My dad had betrayed his own father. My cousins had backed him. They all knew. Or they had their own secrets. I knew what I had to do next, but it was going to rip things apart even more. About a week later, I quietly had my lawyer start digging into the company's financials from the last 5 years. And then the truth started pouring out. Shell companies. Inflated invoices. Mysterious consulting fees. There were documents that had my dad's signature on them. Others had Trevor's. Some pointed toward my Uncle Ray. I sat in my office one night, staring at it all. I couldn't believe it. My family. My blood. My phone buzzed. It was Sarah. We were still separated, but we kept it civil for the kids. "Hey," she said, her voice nervous. "I just wanted to let you know. Mark called me today." I froze. "What?" "He wanted to meet up. Said he wanted to explain himself." "Did you?" "No," she said quickly. "I told him not to contact me again. I just thought you should know." I didn't know how to respond. Part of me appreciated the honesty. Another part of me just didn't care anymore. After the call, I went outside, stood on the porch, and just stared out into the cold Chicago night. I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel brave. I felt tired. And then something happened I wasn't prepared for. My office got broken into. But nothing was stolen. Only the filing cabinet where the old financial records were kept was opened. Papers scattered. Nothing taken, but someone had been looking for something. I checked the cameras, guess what? Footage was wiped. Only from that day. Someone who knew what they were doing. I reported it, of course, but there wasn't much to go on. And that night, I got a call from a blocked number. "You're digging where you shouldn't be," a deep voice said. "You don't want to turn this into a war." Click. I just stood there holding the phone, not even shocked, just sick. This wasn't just about inheritance. This was about power. Secrets. Greed. And maybe worse. I've started sleeping with a baseball bat under the bed. I'm not even sure who I'm protecting myself from anymore. But I know this isn't over. And something tells me, it's about to get even uglier. After the break-in, I started moving differently. I got a lockbox for the most sensitive documents. I kept copies at a second location. My friend Marcus, who owns a mechanic shop in Bridgeport, let me keep some files in his safe. He was the kind of guy who didn't ask questions. I didn't sleep much. I was either up at the office or watching the driveway from my bedroom window, waiting for headlights that never came. Then something strange happened. My cousin Erica, the only one who hadn't completely turned on me, called me one night. "Can we talk?" she said. We met at a 24-hour diner out in Skokie. She looked tired, nervous, kept checking over her shoulder like she was being watched. "Dad's hiding something," she whispered. "I don't know what it is, but he's been on edge since Grandpa's birthday. Always locking his office. He has a burner phone. And I think he's been meeting someone late at night, someone he doesn't want Mom to know about." Her dad? My Uncle Ray. The same uncle whose name showed up in some of the fake contracts. I pressed her for more, but she didn't know much. Just bits and pieces. But she was scared. "Please," she said, her eyes watery. "Don't tell anyone I came to you. If he finds out," that's when I realized, it wasn't just about money anymore. This was bigger. And darker. I went digging again. This time, deeper. I found something buried in an old email chain between my grandfather and his accountant. A wire transfer. $150,000. Labeled Settlement, CC. I asked the accountant who CC was. He paused. I probably shouldn't say this over the phone. I met him in person the next day. The man looked pale. "That money wasn't business related," he said. "It was hush money." "For what?" He hesitated. A woman claimed she had a child with your Uncle Ray. Out of wedlock. She threatened to go public. I just stared at him. What happened to the woman? She disappeared, he said. I mean that literally. 2 weeks after the transfer, she just vanished. The cops looked into it briefly. Nothing came of it. My stomach turned. So Grandpa knew? He suspected Ray was involved. He never said anything out loud, but that transfer haunted him. I left that meeting shaken. I wanted to believe my family was just greedy. That it was just money and pride. But now? Now I wasn't so sure. That same week, something else happened. I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just a single sheet of paper. You're not safe. The truth is deeper than you think. They're watching you. Follow the money. I stared at it for a long time. I had no idea who sent it. The handwriting was messy, almost rushed. I took it to a private investigator. Not one of Grandpa's. Someone completely separate. I asked him to look into everything, my dad, Uncle Ray, Trevor, even Sarah. I needed to know who I could trust, if anyone. Then came the final blow. My daughter, 8 years old, came home crying from school. She said another kid told her, your dad stole money and your mom cheated because of it. I don't even know how that kind of thing makes it to third-grade mouths. But there it was. My kids were getting pulled into this. And I lost it. I called a meeting. I invited everyone. My dad. My uncles. My cousins. Even Sarah. I rented a hall. No excuses. If you didn't show, I'd take it as guilt. And they showed up. Not all of them, but enough. I stood at the front of the room and laid it out. The financial records. The break-in. The anonymous note. The woman who vanished. The fake companies. The burner phones. Everything. And then I played the tape. Grandpa's voice, from that cassette. Every word echoing off the walls. Nobody spoke for a full minute. Then my Uncle Ray stood up. This is a setup, he said. It's all lies. But Erica, his own daughter, stood too. No, it's not, she said. I saw things. I heard things. I've been scared to say anything. But he's telling the truth. Ray's face changed. His expression hardened. I'll never forget the way he looked at her. And then, he walked out. No one followed him. There's more. My private investigator just called. He found something else. Something I wasn't prepared for. Something about Sarah. Apparently, her affair with Mark? It wasn't her first. After the meeting, the room emptied slowly. People avoided my eyes. No one wanted to be the last to leave. Erica stayed behind, hands shaking, her voice soft. Thank you, she said. For not letting it all stay buried. We both knew it was just the beginning. Uncle Ray walking out wasn't the end. It was a fuse. 3 days later, I got a call from the private investigator. I have something for you, he said. About Sarah. I wasn't sure I wanted to know more, but I told him to go ahead. He paused. Sarah's been having an affair since 2021. Mark wasn't the first. He's just the one she got caught with. I sat down slowly. Who? There was silence on the line. That's the twist, he said. It's someone in your family. My mind raced. Who? Trevor. My whole body went cold. Trevor. My cousin. The one who told me to crash and burn. The one who showed up at Grandpa's funeral with his smug little speeches about integrity. I remembered seeing him and Sarah talking in the hallway once, years ago. Too close. Too familiar. I ignored it. I shouldn't have. I didn't confront her right away. I didn't know how. I waited 2 days. I asked her to meet me at a neutral spot, a quiet park where we used to take the kids when they were toddlers. She came, looking nervous but put together. The mask was back on. I need to talk, I said. And I need you to listen. I laid it all out. The investigator. The timeline. The truth. She didn't deny it. She just sat there. And then she whispered, "It wasn't just him." I felt like I was disappearing in our marriage. Like I didn't matter. You were obsessed with proving yourself to your family. You didn't see me. My chest tightened. So you went to him? I didn't plan it, she said. It just happened. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just stared at the grass between us. You had choices, I said finally. And you chose him. The one person you knew would destroy me. She started crying. I'm sorry. I hate myself for it. But I didn't feel sorry for her. I didn't even feel angry anymore. I just felt done. We agreed to finalize the divorce. No more therapy. No more pretending. The kids would stay with me during the week, her on weekends. Clean break. Then I made the second call. To Trevor. He answered, smug as ever. Hey, cousin. What's this about? I know, I said. Silence. Then, I don't know what you think you know, I know about Sarah. More silence. Fine, he said eventually. She came to me. It wasn't my fault. I laughed, short, sharp, bitter. You're unbelievable. Maybe if you weren't so wrapped up in your perfect little life, she wouldn't have strayed. You're not just a liar, I said. You're a coward. He hung up. The fallout came fast. Word spread through the family, first about the will, then the affair, then the financial fraud. Uncle Ray vanished. No one had seen him since the meeting. Erica tried calling, but his number was disconnected. My dad didn't speak to me. Not once. My mom, though? She broke down one night and called me crying. I didn't know, I swear to you, she said. I knew your father was prideful, but I didn't know he was stealing. I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't say much. What could I say? The family business? I sold it. I couldn't keep it. Every wall in that building felt like it had eyes. Like it remembered things I wanted to forget. I handed it over to a partner my grandfather once trusted. Quietly, no press. Just gone. Life is quieter now. The kids are adjusting. They don't understand everything, but they know dad is tired and mom doesn't sleep here anymore. Erica checks in sometimes. She's trying to rebuild from the fallout of her father's legacy. I admire her for that. As for me? I'm still trying to figure out who I am without all the noise. Without the inheritance, the pressure, the lies. Was it all worth it? I don't know. But here's what I do know, when people show you who they are, believe them. I believed in my family. I believed in my wife. I believed I could fix it all. Now I believe in something else. Myself. And that has to be enough. For now.